So then, why did I choose the Sport Scout instead of a Super Scout or a Bobber or the 101? And this is the reason why. So I started looking for a new bike, and I've been driving for a year, and I've had a Kawasaki Vulcan S650 for the same period of time. And I was very pleased with the bike, but I wanted a new one, and I wanted something similar, but also different. So at the time when I started looking, I didn't know what I wanted to be different, and I didn't know what I wanted to be the same. Of course, I wanted the engine to be bigger than 650. Eventually, I found Indian Scout. And the Indian Scout Bobber is a really good looking thing. So I looked really hard at that one. It's a really nice looking bike, but I wanted something with a fairing to get the highway wind off of my chest. So the Scout Bobber doesn't have a fairing, so maybe that was not the choice for me then. And eventually I found the Rogue, which do have a fairing, and I really liked that one, so I looked into that one a bit more, and eventually I was quite comfortable with the idea of buying a Rogue, because it's really good looking and it was, what I was looking for. But there was one problem, well, two problems, and the first one is that I wanted cruise control really bad, and I also wanted, a fuel gauge. I'm commuting to work, and I'm getting more and more trouble with my right arm, since you're sitting in this position, and doing that is not the problem in itself, but I have injured my shoulder/arm in a jiu-jitsu accident, so it was getting me into trouble, getting constant pain in the arm, and the 1 hour drive every day was enough for me to have constant pain. So what I'm getting at is that I need this cruise control thing, so that I can rest my right arm as well as I can rest my left arm, so that the pain goes away. So that was an issue, and remember that this all took place before the 2025 lineup was available. I even went to an Indian dealer to see the Rogue in real life and to sit on it and feel what it feels like. At the time, I had no idea that the new model was going to have both fuel gauge and cruise control and fairing and everything that I really wanted. And even though I knew a new model was coming out, I thought that the Kawasaki Vulcan has not changed over the years much. I think there's some feature that they have added, but other than that, it's been the same for a very long time. And I know it's the same with the Scout lineup. It hasn't really changed either, so it was not at all on my radar that they would put cruise control on it and fuel gauge or anything. I just thought that, well, the new one is just a new one. But for some reason I started seeing videos from Blockhead and Brandon, I'm not going to butcher his last names, and they made videos, like an hour-long videos, where they rode all the different new Scout lineup, 2025 lineup bikes. So they drove maybe half a day on one model and then changed during lunch to another model, and the next day yet another model. So they went through all the 5 models: the Classic, the Bobber, the Sport Scout, the 101 and the Super Scout. So the more I saw these videos, I realized that this is the lineup that I want. The question is, which one? At the time, there was no place in Sweden I can go and look at them. They hadn't come to Sweden yet. But eventually I found the homepage, which was indianlandskrona.com or indianmotorcycle.se, and at those two sites you could build the new 2025 lineup and configure it as you wished. So if you want a passenger seat, you could add that and then save that for later on. So then, why did I choose the Sport Scout instead of a Super Scout or a Bobber or the 101? And this is the reason why. All the 5 1250cc Scout models you can get with cruise control, fairing, fuel gauge, traction control and so on. All the features that I wanted I can get on all the models. But if you look at the Kawasaki Vulcan S650 and the Super Scout and Classic Scout, they all have the same similar handlebars. There is something with the shape of it that I don't really like. And so I also don't want to sit that upright, which you do when you have the handlebars so close to you. I have problems with my back/tailbone, so I had an idea that if I'm a little bit more leaned forward, I might not have the same issue as I do with the Kawasaki Vulcan S650, and I thought that I would probably get the same issues Classic or Super Scout. When I'm looking at the bobber, I had to rest my weight on the handlebars because I was leaning too much forward. At least I did this on the 2024 and older models, which I had tested or tried in the store, and that just made me think that it's probably the same on the new one, the 2025. So if I rule out the Super Scout and the Bobber and the Classic Scout, it's only the Sport Scout and the 101 left in the 2025 lineup. And you do get more bang for the buck with the 101, but you cannot get it in black. So I love looking at white bikes, red bikes, blue bikes, and all the colors, but if I'm going to buy one, it has to be black. And maybe in the future I can buy something else, but right now that was just not an option for me. I wanted a black bike, period. So that is why I bought the Sport Scout. Live long and drive prosper.